Alliance. He is the beast from Hollywood East, Michael the Hammer Mulligan.
Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here for another episode of Fireside. Thanks for joining us today. Lynn Marie hooked up the set to bring in the Christmas season. I hope you like it. It's pretty nice, warm and fuzzy by the fire. Beautiful day. So listen, our guest today is going to be Patrick the Rainmaker Schultz. Now Patrick owns Cape Cod Fighting Alliance on Camelot Drive in Plymouth, Massachusetts. You can find him at ccfa.com. Great guy, great school. You got Michael Gress over there as the head instructor. You got Giuliano Banana Coutinho as the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. And you got Patrick Schultz, all-around boss, great man, great fighter. Patrick was an athlete all his life. He come up through the ranks in baseball. He was recruited, I believe, by the Blue Jays. Great hockey player. And he ended up here in the octagon fighting people instead. So let's hear a little bit more from Pat. Thanks for coming. Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here today with Patrick Schultz. What's up, Pat?
How's it going, Mike?
Awesome, awesome. So, Pat owns Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, but before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about your history in sports. You know, you're back in the day.
Yeah,
what
back in the day. On the cranberry bogs.
Yeah.
Getting beat up by my brother's older friends.
Nice.
It was fun, but you know, that's what it was about, and grew up in a big neighborhood. There was probably 60, 70 homes in the neighborhood, and we were always playing baseball, hockey, and fortunately enough, I had my parents who directed me in the right path, just taking me to fields and rinks, as you know all about that,
Sure.
Mr. Mulligan.
Sure.
And that turned into, you know, who I am today, and really gave it my everything for baseball and hockey up into my early 20s, and always missed the boxing and the karate. My parents were just, you know, it wasn't happening. We were taking trips to Canada at maybe 10 years old, and they weren't about to take me down to the local street corner karate dojo to spar for the weekend. And you know, hockey was so expensive. It still is today, but
It is
you know,
expensive.
those two sports were just everything I did, and I went right up through school and college, and tried to make some noise in those sports, and just had a blast. And it really turned me on to a bigger and badder sport these days. And if you told me this is where I was going to be 20 years ago, I would have laughed.
So what made the transition? At what point did you go from you know, draftee of, who were you drafted by?
I was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays.
All right, before we even get to that, let me ask you this. What is the difference between being a team on a team and being an individual in the cage?
Well, you're not, you know, to be the individual in the cage is certainly going to go right into the cage and show the school colors immediately. You're going to see what the school's prominent in. You'll see what the weaknesses are. You can listen to the corner. They'll flat out tell you it's a book. You can just read it in 5, 10 minutes, 15-minute fight. and know exactly what you have. And of course, you know, a lot of the main things are class and discipline and how they carry themselves, and of course their physical attributes with striking and ground force and highlighted rails and wins and losses and so on and so forth. But the premier athlete these days is certainly the guys wearing those belts, and those guys are all showing just common basic discipline. You got George St. Pierre, and these guys, they just train every day, all day, and you know, get to where they need to be, and it's fun to them. They do it because they enjoy doing it, and that's another, you know, big thing about it.
So in your head, right? Because, and I'm only asking you this because you've been in both positions. In your head, on the field, on a baseball field, on the skating rink, with the team around you, or in the cage individually, which one makes more sense to you? I mean, you know what I'm getting at. I mean, I just need to know from a guy that's been at both ends.
You know, playing baseball, both sides. I was an offensive player. I tried to hit home runs as much as possible, and I had good friends that were pitchers. And you know, you go out and you hit a 3-run homer, and your team gets 4 runs on the board just to go back into, you know, an inning later, and you're losing 5-4.
Exactly.
Because your pitcher's lobbing up, you know, dingers left and right. So
exactly.
When you're in the ring, absolutely, there's no excuses in the ring, and you'll be amazed at some of these fighters and how they find excuses that it has nothing to do with what they did in there. And certainly, you know, I learned the hard way, not the hard way, but the good way. And when I was younger, I wanted to be that person, you know, in a penalty shot where the whole place is watching. Now, the downside to that, I've missed penalty shots.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're not always the hero, and in some sense, you know, you're the donkey. So you got to be willing to go out and make that risk and try and create that opportunity, and that's what we got going on with the baddest sport in the world.
Exactly. So the bottom line is that you do, I don't want to say that this isn't a team sport, because it is. I mean, from when I watch the guys in the corner, be it CCFA, whoever the team is, a good school, a good team is going to have the cut man, it's going to have the corner guy, it's going to have the other people inside the class that you're sparring with, training with, everything else. So you really do have a whole team behind you. The way that you carry yourself, you are representing that team once you get in there. So you got to make sure that you pull your weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about too. You go in and you train all week, and you're training in these gyms, and you're getting beat up per se. You're tired. Even if you're a world champion, you're getting beat up all week long. And you want to go showcase what you practice all week, what you believe in, what you wake up in the morning for, because this sport is so young. People are promoting it themselves and doing a great job. The more intellect we have about the sport, you know, the more fans we grab, and it's just why there's so many people clinging to the sport. But as for a fighter, you know, you want to show people in that octagon when that light's on, you know.
Yeah.
You only get so many opportunities.
And you live and you learn too in this sport. You know, it's the greatest thing about this sport, I think, is you know, it's like you look at records of boxers, you look at records of this, records of that. Records really don't matter in mixed martial arts.
No, and in all sports almost they don't matter. That time and that experience per every competition is really what it comes down to. And you know, as a fighter, you go out there and you fight, and all of a sudden, you know, you may have had a bad fight and lost, and you're driving around for 2 weeks with no radio on in your car, wondering what the hell went wrong and how you got. And now, this is what, with no experience, I've seen people want to jump off a bridge because of one individual fight where I thought they went out and did a good job.
Right.
And you know, being on The Ultimate Fighter was a good, you know, I had some experience. I was an older guy on the show, unfortunately. I was 32 years old. With that experience, I saw 20-year-olds lose fights that basically thought it was the end of the world. And, you know, I was laughing because I knew these guys were just getting started. And they just couldn't see past, you know.
Exactly. I said it to Bill that I did with Mahoney the other day, and that's what I said to him. I says, every single one of those fighters, you know, because he was talking about the corner man saying, this is it, you got to represent everybody, this is the end of the world, if you don't win, you're going to die, you know, when you're in a corner. And that's what it was. And every one of these kids on the Ultimate Fighter show that gets beat ends up in the chair of doom, I call it, in the back room, going, I let everybody down. It ain't about everybody else. It isn't. And every fight that you lose, you learn. You're going to get better as you go.
Every fight should be a piece to the puzzle is what we tell our guys. You know, when you look back in 3 years, I hope this isn't a critical fight that you have in your career because we failed as a team and we didn't put together your 9 fights or your 12 fights that you should do in 3 years, and your goals were obviously missed from coach to student. And yeah, you know, we've had guys lose 2 and 3 fights, and then all of a sudden this fight that happens, the whole state is talking about it. I mean, like I said earlier, it's create those opportunities, and for these MMA fighters right now, they're out there.
Right, and you sometimes get a really good rep on a loss too, because it's all about the fight. It isn't about who wins or loses in most of these fights. It is to you in your heart, but bottom line, it comes down to how exciting was that fight.
Absolutely.
How much effort did those people put in? Was it a 3 rounds of somebody laying on you doing absolutely nothing, or was it 2 people going out there banging for 3 to 5 rounds and then winning by split decision? So it's a huge thing. Pat, tell me, when did you get started in mixed martial arts?
I got started about 14 years ago, 13 years ago. I started in Bridgewater in eclectic karate with Paul Curtin. But true mixed martial artist, this guy, you know, ground stuff, stand-up stuff mostly, a lot of karate, traditional taekwondo, but just, you know, this you walked into the school and, you know, he knew I was out. I was past the karate, trying to achieve the belts. I wanted to know, you know, if stuff went down in the real world, how to protect myself, and put forth my, you know, my athletic ability into this sport now. And Paul got me started with some raw, hard training with some
Nice.
Bridgewater friends and some Brockton guys that I'm still friends with to this day. And I can remember those days going in there just getting beat up, but, you know, forming a group, forming a team, and seeing some real good, you know, pathways and what I've chosen from.
And a lot of the getting beat up he's talking about, some of it is getting punched, but a lot of it is just a physical conditioning that you need to go through, the stuff that you need to go through to get to that point where you can really do a fight and last.
Yeah, absolutely.
It ain't easy.
Baby steps, right?
These guys kill me. Oh my God. So Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, when did you say? Well, let's go now from Paul. You went to where? To Mike's. It's on.
Yeah, I ended up with Mike Resch, local Lobo, my boy, my best friend. He, you know, I went to him shortly after Paul Curtin a couple of
You
years.
know you gotta say his name.
Oh,
because he would be like, if we didn't say Michael Dratz 3 times on every show, we're dead.
He's Shioshi to me. Shioshi Mike Resch, local Lobo.
Nice.
Yeah, I ran into Mike living in the same town, believe it or not, Wareham, and just ended up in his basement training like many people have. And, you know, he was just a good friend, and that's what you need, you know. It's some guy who's telling me, and he told me, you got to go see Crew Mark Delagrati, you got to drive up to Boston. You know, it was an hour and a half to get up to Boston. And, you know, I believed Mike and trusted him right away. And I had been hearing about Siatong for a good year, 2 years maybe before I went there. And I drove up there, and hour and a half in traffic, and I said, I can't believe this place is only an hour and a half away from my house.
Yeah.
And I only have to sit in a little traffic to get there. Are you kidding me?
It's
Mike
it's
is
the real dungeon. It's nasty in there too.
Oh yeah, local Lobo Mike is was a big part. Him and Delagrati have a big relationship with his very, very near and dear to my heart, because I have a relationship with the both of them. I've been to Thailand with Crew Mark, and you know, that's one thing that I cherish and I really look into in the sport today is people, you know, there's a lot of loyalty issues out there. And
exactly.
people kind of running around. The one thing mixed martial arts doesn't have, you have these good schools, but they're new. You look at the traditional schools, you didn't train at 5, 6 different schools. The cross training, you know, it's obviously needs to be huge in what we do, but you know, these alliances out there are made for a lot of these guys, and we feel like we have them all, you know.
You do, yeah, definitely, and it's getting better and better as you go. I mean, when you first started, it was your school was basically the stand-up, and we run down to Bananas a lot to do the jits.
Yeah.
Down to Hyannis, you know, and now Bananas at your school. So it's you, Mike, Banana, you got Greg in there, you got just...
Yeah, and you know, we started with obviously Jose Antunes, Cacao, and Giuliano were just, you know, the boys of Mike and Daniel Gracie. So now you talk about Daniel, he's training at Henzo's in Manhattan. And if you don't know much about schools, the tuitions that they do, put it this way, they have over 1,200 students at their school in Manhattan, and I would say there's probably 20, 30 black belts, don't quote me on that, in jiu-jitsu in the school, but you know, that's our jiu-jitsu pipeline right there, and Giuliano's watching what Daniel's doing. Daniel's teaching him about Henzo stuff, and what we get for feedback is unbelievable. And you know, obviously, Giuliano Banana brings his physical attributes, being 250 pounds and a black belt.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so your school has grown a lot. You're in Camelot Park in Plymouth.
We're in Plymouth, Camelot Drive. Yep, right in the industrial park. Small little dojo, 2,000 square feet, but we get it done in there. And you know, we roam right around the 100 mark for members, and we have probably just under 20 pro fighters on board, pretty much consistently since we've started. It's never really changed. It's, you know, we have a group of guys, and with the members, we have obviously more people not looking to fight, but lose 25, 30 pounds. Self-defense, obviously. The kids want to get started with something, and obesity in the country right now is at a highest it could ever be, and it just, you know, we just walk around and ask people if they want to be in shape right now, and if they do and they want to do something fun, we have what it takes. You know, I was sparring with my buddy today for about 15 minutes, just got him totally exhausted. Let him hit me in the head a couple times, and he felt like he was in a UFC fight. This kid's a pro golfer. Yeah. He wants to lose 25 pounds and go out there and shoot par on a given day. So nice. We're trying to go after everybody now, but the pro fighters are, you know, that's what's close to us. That's what we do.
You know, and this is the thing. It's like the new people that come in that aren't looking to be a pro fighter go into there and they train with these pro fighters and they learn a lot. I mean, they really do. I mean, some of the talent in the room is just unbelievable. You go in there sometime, you walk in and you see all the belts hanging around on the walls from different fighters and different, it's just amazing. Yeah. It really is. So in any given day, you have somebody that's in that room with you training that's going to be on the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just will be. It has been already or is going to be in the UFC. So yeah. It's you know, it's yeah, that's crazy. What are your plans for expansion? I know you were talking about more classes coming up now that you know you want to fill it up during the day and stuff.
Yeah, right now what we have going on, and it's been, you know, people come into my 6 o'clock class, and you know there's 25 people in the school, maybe 30 people, and it's a little busy in there on 1,500 square feet. So it's you know, you need a bigger school. You need a bigger school. And you know, I know that I need 5 more classes that look like that 6 o'clock class. So right now we have, you know, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock when people are done at school and done, you know, at work, my place seems to fill up. But we've added all these day classes, and now all of a sudden we're seeing the same thing. We're realizing that not everybody's schedule is the same. You know, you'd think it was just moms coming in after they drop their kids off in school, but it's not. You know, we got business owners who have crazy sporadic hours at work, and it's been a good thing. So, you know, the expansion, we're looking 8,000, 10,000 square feet. I've been looking. It's very easy to find space out there. You know, in this economy, I just want to make sure I'm ready to do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, why jump the gun? Why wait until, you know, so what do you got for classes during the day now? Do you have any new ones coming or that you've opened?
Right now, we haven't even made the announcement. We've been open all week. We wanted to see how it would go. And every day, Monday through Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning, we're open now, which we were open selected days before. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
You're open at 10 in the morning?
Saturday, every morning at 10.
Oh, I'm coming.
Oh, see, I'd say my first, but we've had people in there all week. It's been going great.
Yeah, you know? See, I didn't even know. And the thing is that for me, by the time I'm done with my day, I'm beat. I'm old.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 47, every ache and pain. But what I do is I go and I get my guys started on the job sites in the morning, and then from like 10 to 2 o'clock, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't really, you know, so that's perfect.
Yeah, no matter what you're doing, you know, I have the school, and like I said, the busiest hours are 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Right. Now, no matter what I do in the morning, I'm waking up in the morning, and, you know, there's got to be a second, a third wind by that time. Now in the morning, I'm shooting over to the school, spending some time with the kids, headed over to the school for 10 o'clock, and we've had some great morning classes, and we're just kind of, we got pro guys that we work with. We have some women in there that want to work on self-defense. Everybody's obviously working on cardio, but it's all good stuff. So
right now, the classes that you have like I know that the 7 o'clock is basically almost aspiring is a class that you basically put all the pieces together almost.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to get hit if you go to that class,
yeah,
basically.
That's not the class. You know, 95% of the people that walk through the door pay their mortgage and rely on their bodies physically at work. We have a lot of those guys. Yeah. So we have a 6 o'clock class. You don't need a mouthpiece. You don't need a cup. I tell people you will feel like you've been in a fight because of, you know, the amount of calories you're going to burn. Your arms are going to be sore and tired. But, you know, we keep you safe. Then in the 7 o'clock class, you know, we immediately had to divide people up, and you know, you can't put people, obviously. Yeah. So our 7 o'clock class, we got our pro guys going. We're always rolling jiu-jitsu style. If we got Naga tournaments coming up, we always have our gi classes 3 nights a week. We're adding 2 gi classes during the day now.
Oh, nice.
Tuesday,
good.
Thursday, 10 o'clock with Giuliano.
We're gonna have to find some big people for me for those.
Oh yeah. Well, the instructor's
is Giuliano gonna
so
go to
yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, but he never rolls with me. Giuliano, you always got an issue. What's up? Oh, I can't believe my shoulder. Molly's here. No, Mike, you run the class. It is a blast, though. You know, you go in there, and it's. I don't want to say it's like the gym, but here you go. once you join, it takes you a minute to get started. But once you're started, you're in it. You get totally immersed in this whole experience. It's like a family over there. I mean, every once in a while, you get the occasional guy that comes in with the attitude and the I know everything, but it seems that they end up find their way to another gym, or they learn a little bit of humility.
Yeah, it's, you know, with Mike's personality, with my personality, with some of them around, we've kind of opened arms, welcomed every person that walks through the door.
Right.
On a couple occasions, we've been on the butt a little bit. Me and Mike got that long fuse before we realized someone pulled one over on us. But they're out there, and we're in the people business, so, you know, we try and enjoy it. At the same time, you know, yeah, you have a couple kids that, you know, aren't happy with me, or not, you know, helping somebody else who's brand new to the sport. We are a family. You hit it right on the nose, and that's what fits. So, you know, one of the questions we ask everybody when they walk through the door is, you know, do you want to be the toughest person in the world? We ask them what they've been part of growing up thus far. You know, what sports have you played? What have you done as a group? Have you ran? Have you played soccer? And right away, you know, I know that they've been disciplined 2 or 3 days a week with practice and games.
Right.
We're off to a pretty good start right there.
Right, and you kind of qualify them as to almost what their I want to say alpha is going to be at that point too.
Right,
to be able to tell, are they going to try and dominate everybody in the school, or are they going to be open to learn?
Well, you have 10% of the people that walk in and they tell you immediately how many street fights they've had, you know, their record. They're always undefeated.
Yeah.
There's probably, I would say, 5 to 10% of your members are going to come in and tell you how tough they are, what they've accomplished already, nothing competitively, you know, sanctioned, but, you know, in their backyard with their brother, of course, and
with their chest out,
you know, the sport brings them out, and they come in, and you know, they're tough for, you know, 20 seconds, and then it just gets
well, I love it too, you know. And the reason why I'm even here, and I always say it, is because my son Shaney was probably like your first customer when you opened the press. He was waiting at the door, and now his Pat's 5 o'clock kids class, it was slow in the beginning because nobody knew about it. So Shane would be there every day. And Pat would be, it would be Shane and Timio, I think, were the two at that class. And Pat, it was almost like private lessons. So he grew through that. But it'll come to the point where people will walk in the door and they'll, you know, Shane will be over there and they'll say, oh, I don't want to go with a 60-year-old kid, I'm going to hurt him. And this is the tough. And, oh, that's all right, Mike and Pat. I say, just take it easy on him.
Yeah, well, you hit it, you know. You said it right when you have what we did with Shane. We had five classes during the week, Monday through Friday. We opened these kids classes, and you got to open them 1 or 2 days a week. Make people go and try and build them from there. And but for a lot of kids, and what I've done is, you know, I wanted to make sure whether one person comes in, 2 people come into the classes, when we're building them, that they're going to get that workout that they need. And it's obviously easy to spend time with 1 or 2 people. So I was always saying to myself, you know, because obviously I like the 20, 30, 40, 50 people in the school.
You got to pay for a building.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in it for fun, but you got to afford to have fun.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So it's, you know, we've been putting it down for those people, and things have worked out well.
Now tell me what do you got going with the kids now for kids? See, my favorite thing is the kid stuff. It is, like Shane's grown up now, so he's all adult. He goes and trains with Mike. He helps him teach the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes and stuff. And but what do you got for kids now? Because that's like huge to me. That's like the pool.
Yeah, we have, what we've done with the kids classes, we've geared them all to twice a week in the gi doing jiu-jitsu right now. So we've built a good little team. And in the past, you know, with regular MMA and no belting program for some of these kids, you start to, you know, lose interest with no goals in sight. They obviously can't be sparring and fighting in an octagon. You know what I mean? It's so with the jiu-jitsu class, these guys are battling, and it's still, you get some kids in there, they can't, you know, they're not going to go in there and wrestle with somebody. They're 12, 13 years old, and just something they haven't done in the past, and they have no desire to do. But with these classes, we've built these classes up. We have a nice little jiu-jitsu team for the kids. What we'd like to do is go even lower, as low as 7 years old. We want to go 4 to 7 with an exercise group, self-defense, bully program, run, yell, and tell, role play over situations in the mall, certain things with these kids, but you know, making these kids athletes at 4 to 7 years old.
Right.
Your kid lost a 50-yard dash. I got news for you. He's going to be running with a parachute around that parking lot, you know, winning the 50-yard dash. But just kind of circumferent to whatever their needs may be. And at that age, we just want them exercising, throwing martial arts in there, and trying to get the best and, you know, open up their mind to...
Start with the foundation.
You know,
getting the foundation first and then going from there. Awesome. What else?
I mean, we got some exciting stuff coming up in December 10th. Chip Marazapolin's fighting in Atlantic City. We went there over the summer. Chip was coming off of 2 losses. He fought Joe. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. And
Joe, the guy from
he was New Jersey. He had the belt in New Jersey. He was 7-0. He was their premier fighter, beating everybody up. You know, he was supposed to fight one of Chip's opponents from King of the Cage. Chip was coming off 2 losses, one of them which he won. You know, and
never leave it in the hands of the judges.
Perfect example. Comes off of 2 losses. We drive to Atlantic City. I wish we flew out to Atlantic City. We drive to Atlantic City. You know, take the fight on 2 weeks' notice. He's 194. He cuts to 169 in 2 weeks. I think it was 12 or 13 days to be exact.
Wow.
We go there. People are in our face, expecting us just to get murdered. I mean, it was. We went me, Giuliano, and Chip, and walked out in front of 1,000 of this kid's friends, and we were going to get murdered, blah, blah, blah. And 2 minutes into the fight, all you could hear was me coaching, because people just had their mouths wide open. So we're going there to fight Greg Soto. He's 3 fights in the UFC. Fought my buddy from Season 7, Matt Riddle. We're thinking he's going to want to take it to the ground and not stand with Chip, because I'm telling you right now, we've worked with this kid from day 1, and he continues to get better standing up. And he's a threat to anybody, and this is a great fight for him. Soto comes in with some experience from the UFC, but December 10th. So, you know, that's just a little bit of information, some stuff we're excited about.
Nice.
We got smokers going all the time. The kids are always competing. Your son's fighting the Pog, or he wants to fight in a Muay Thai smoker. It's about throwing goals at these people and letting them achieve their goals and letting them know it's important. And in the process, you know, everybody loses 30, 40 pounds and feels better about themselves. So that's what we got going on.
So that's beautiful. So bottom line, what we got here is we got a school in Plymouth, right here, right under your noses. You can go there with your kids if you want to get them on the right track. You want to get them into a good family that's going to have them grow, and you know, it's just a beautiful place for my son. You have a place for the ladies to go. You have a place for the guys to go. The people that don't want to get punched in the head, but want to get fit and want to know how to handle themselves if they ever end up in that situation. And you probably got the best school around for producing pro fighters, in my eyes, because I see them all the time. It's just a great school. Pat, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Folks,
for having me.
Thanks for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan, and Pat Schultz.
Merry Christmas, everybody.